You need to tighten it up over there.
No, I don't want to be associated with it.
All right, good morning, and welcome to the General Government Appropriations Committee. We're excited to be here this morning, and this committee, in my opinion, and the folks, the agencies that come to this committee really help Georgians and are really a great part of this state, and I appreciate you guys being with us today. Before we get started, I want to congratulate Floor Leader Gamble on being vice chair. Congratulations. Welcome to the committee. And I'm going to ask him if he'd lead us in a prayer.
Please join me in prayer. Lord, we thank you for today and the opportunity to gather here and review these sections of our state budget. Father, I pray for those that have come today and all of us as we prepare for Christmas and what that means. And Father, I pray that you would give us the strength to get through the next coming weeks and months, days as we head up to the legislative session. Be with our families, continue to lead us and direct us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to start with Chairman Tarvin. Just, Chairman, if you would introduce yourself and tell them a little about yourself and where you're from.
Little to know. I'm Steve Tarvin. I'm from District 2, portions of Walker. I live in Walker County, portions of Walker County, Whitfield, and Catoosa. And I believe I'm going into my beginning of my 12th year on February the 13th, I think, when I came into office. Proud to serve on this, and I'd like to congratulate our new chairman, Mr. Bill Yerter.
Sure. Thank you. All right.
Well, thank you, Chairman Matthew Gamble from Cartersville, Georgia. And I was on this subcommittee, and then I left and went to economic development. And now I'm back. But I can honestly say that it's an honor to be back and to get to serve next to my friend Bill Yerta. And Bill, congratulations. And I appreciate the speaker giving me the opportunity to serve. Look forward to working with all of you.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairman Yerta, and congratulations to you. I've enjoyed serving with you on the Majority Whip team. Look forward to serving under your leadership, and Floor Leader Gamble, Vice Chair, and Matt Reeves. I'm from Gwinnett County, Duluth, Suwannee, and Sugar Hill. My district goes from Sugarloaf to Sugar Hill. I can tell you I learned more in 2 hours on this subcommittee than I did my first 2 years in terms of state government operations and the budget and all that, and have enjoyed serving on this subcommittee and look forward to hearing from you this morning.
Thank you. And I think do we have Brian Prince on Zoom? Brian, can you speak to us and introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. This is Brian Prince, House District 132. And thank you for the option for Zoom today. I have a school board meeting, and I had to make that today. So this is a blessing. So thank you, Wanda and David and the team to set this up.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being with us, and thanks to the committee for coming. I know it's a busy time of the year, and I appreciate you guys joining us. First I'll introduce myself. I'm Bill Yerta. I'm from Sylvester, Georgia. I'm District 152. I represent Worth and Lee County and a little bit of Daugherty County. And it's a pleasure to serve here in the legislature with this great body. And this is, in my opinion, one of the best committees that I could be on, and I'm looking forward to serving. So thank you for being here. All right, first on the agenda is the Secretary of State's office. They're going to talk a little bit about the professional licensing division, and Todd Zanowitz, he's the Director of Licensing. There you are, and I think we also have Wanda Jaff, Deputy Director of the division.
Yep. Hello.
Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, for having us back and giving you an update since our last meeting and kind of telling you where we are with the PLB and where we're going. Deputy Secretary of State Matt Tizer was unable to make it today's meeting due to his mother being in surgery, actually currently right now. So he's kind of helping her out in the hospital. So I'm going to give you guys some updates post our last Blue Ribbon Committee, some areas of collaboration, and show you some kind of new tools and application trackers that we're looking forward to rolling out to the public. Some updates. So our goal system, which is our online system, is now 100% live online. We had our last rollout, which was rollout 3, went live at the beginning of September, and that finished with adding 179,000 nurses and music therapy therapists to our goal system to kind of conclude getting everyone across Georgia on our new updated system goals. And then we do have just an update on, or just high level, we do have about 220 plus licenses across 42 boards. We do have 564 license holders across.
Thousand.
Yeah, oh yeah, sorry, yeah. 564,000, license holders across 413,000 unique constituents. Increases in efficiency. So with the new system, you'll see on this slide and some other slides, we've really been able to revamp and think from, revamp our mindset and the flows to really decrease deficiencies, and also come at a mindset of from the applicant in versus the agency out. We really have seen some tremendous growth or efficiencies, I should say, just with the new system and being just state-aligned system that we're working with. So since 2018, our new licenses issued have increased 67%, and our total applications received has increased 109%. Like I said, everything is now fully digital. We got rid of all of our paper applications. We're still working through. We have 2 that are hanging out there, but we're getting those wrapped up and finished soon. But our current application processing per analyst has increased from 900 in 2020 to 1250 this current year. So that's a 28% increase in productivity just per head count of our applications being able to be processed by our analysts. In the old system, I'll kind of go through it, but there's a lot of deficiencies in that process. And the average time that took, just looking at November, what we processed in November, our old system versus our new system, our average processing days was 133 business days in our old system. We have that down to under about 18 business days in our new system. So again, tremendous efficiencies gained, and being able to really ask the applicant for what we need when we need it, and ensure that we have everything we need when they hit submit, so that we look at the application one time and that we can then issue that license at that time, make sure everything is there. Just want to state, 50% of the workload across the PLB is with application error processing, and the other 50% is with our complaints that we get on certain, licensees, which require investigation inspectors to be a part of that process. This year also, we just finished relocating our office from Coliseum Drive up to Arkwright, and to a new, more modern, efficient space. We reduced our square footage from 83,000 square feet down to about 9,000 square feet. So huge savings there. This slide kind of goes over what I was talking about. So this is an example of our Healthcare One group and the different boards and license types that are underneath that board. You can see in our old system, as in the orange section, 181 days for the applications we processed in November, and showing currently 32.59 days for our goal system. Not where we want to be with this board specifically, but wanted to call out in the behavior analyst there that it's a new board that was just added and went live on 7/1 of this year. And we did get an influx of applications. We've received over 2,500 applications since July, with 891 coming in July, 632 in August, and another 827 in September. So we're just really kind of digging out of that huge wave of first time people coming in and getting licensed within our flow and our process. The next one you can see in the blue section there, Healthcare 2, they were part of our first rollout back in 23. And though we still have to revamp those applications and kind of clean them up still to our new way of thinking, this went live and they're still doing under 30 business days of processing time, which is pretty good. Healthcare 3, which is our nursing and music therapy, they just went live in September and already under 22 business days compared to 82 business days in our old system. So again, huge efficiencies gained and quicker processing speeds. This slide, a good one to call out is our trades one. Again, just huge, tremendous growth that now they're under 9 business days processing their applications. Trades two, this is our Cosmo and used vehicle parts dealers. And again, still need to revamp. There's still, surprisingly, you'll see some of the numbers are a little high in the 20s. There's still deficiencies in this process. And so still need to revamp this process to our new way of thinking. And but it's great to see that they're under 12, they're about 12 business days currently, even with a system that has deficiencies still in it that we need to revamp. And trades three, which is our funeral services, long-term healthcare, private detectives, and water wastewater. This one is actually leading the division at just under 7 business days. And again, surprisingly, some of these still have deficiencies built in the process, so we could probably even improve on that as well. Trades four, this is another good one. This is our air conditioned res gen electrical contractors. That group, really huge, tremendous change from the old system of the paper application that had, again, there's deficiencies and people applying for things that they didn't qualify for. And now with our process and our application flow, we're pushing them and kind of making sure people are applying for what they need to apply for, and so they're not wasting their time and energy applying for things that they don't qualify for. And you can see now that we get clean applications in, we're processing under 9 business days, which is pretty amazing. Do have some areas, issues, areas and stuff to call out. Wanted to call out, under our behavior analyst, there's some delays around reciprocity. They're already licensed in another state, and we require them still to provide their transcripts, practicum verifications, and national exam scores. Thinking back at this in my own career of working, I was only asked for my GPA out of college for my first job out of college. After that, no one ever asked me for my GPA ever again. So kind of your experience speaks for itself after that point. And then we have hearing aid dispensers and music therapy and podiatry. Some of these license types require national background checks and fingerprinting. Though that is probably important, and some employers may want to have that. We just feel that should probably fall on the responsibility of the employer and maybe take it out as a mandate, within the application flow. And again, our overall goal, and with improvements like these, is to get Georgians to work faster. Collaboration. So every change in everything that we do or that comes out of legislation costs us money. So any funding needed or funding needs to follow the legislative changes, because anytime we add a new license group or there's a statute, regulation, or simple rule changes, all those add cost to us to have to do it in our system, update our system. And you can see this is our current, printed out. This is all our rules, regs, and processes today that we have to program into our current system. And it's a ton of paper and a ton of rules and regs that we have today. But anything that does change, it does cost money, and we would love to have some funding added to those legislative changes. This one kind of touches on the growth and efficiencies. Again, you can kind of see our license issued, again, 67%, our applications 109%, showing the head count here in our applications per head count. So 900 back in 2020, and we're now at 1250, and only added head count wise of 60%. We started back in the day of 42 head count. We're up to 67 analysts that we're using to process all these applications. So with the growth of only 60% of headcount, we're processing 109% of additional applications in that same time frame. So coming soon, this is the exciting part. I'm definitely looking forward to having our AI reader. So we're going to have a document reader as applicants are uploading their documents. It's going to be scanning it and reading it and kind of doing the work of an analyst to say, is it signed? Does it have the right expiration dates? Does it have the right, if it's an surety bond, does it have the right bond amount? Is it notarized? All those things can be checked by our AI reader. And then that kind of will give a green check mark on the back end for the analyst to say it's already been reviewed and I don't have to spend my time on that. Especially after proving proof of concept that it works and we agree with all the checks and balances. But it's an interactive tool that even if we say find something that it doesn't, we can check that, nope, this one doesn't, and it goes back in the AI reader, then we'll learn and keep learning throughout the process. Secondly, our probably most important super excited thing is the application journey page. So you can actually track where your application is in the process. Today, you can just see that it's submitted, the date that you submitted it, and it's in submitted status. Doesn't really give you much information. So now we're going to be able to say, okay, it's in the current status of pending validation. Well, what does that mean and whatnot? It's submitted on what date? On the date of the 8th. Estimated completion date. So we give you that based on our average processing times and kind of have a process tracker as well. Then you can click the view details and it kind of just blows up into another thing of now you can say pending validation. What does that mean? It means it's being reviewed by the PLB team. And we'll notify you if there are any updates needed. And then you're on this business day, again, when it was submitted, estimated completion time, and our average processing times. And again, the status timeline. So if there is any deficiencies or back and forth, they'll be able to see that as an applicant and say, oh, it's in my court. I have to take action on it. It's back in the PLB's court. They're working on it. And then you kind of see that back and forth, trying to be as transparent as we can with the applicant so that it is very just clear on what they're doing. Because today, 50% of our calls in our call center are people calling in just for an update on the application that they processed or they submitted last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. And maybe our processing time is 15 business days and they don't know that. So we're now being, again, very transparent with our data to hopefully reduce down the calls in our call center and just provide that self-service. And again, that customer in versus agency out mindset. And any questions? I'll go through what I did at you.
All right, Tarvin?
I've got a couple if we got time and 126 business days in probably 6 months. So that's about how long it took to get a license if it was 133 days, business days.
For some, yeah, for those applications, and again, it may be a little skewed because those are our applications that are older that we just transferred over, and we're still working through they were an older paper application that came in with a bunch of deficiencies. So,
Was that on renewals and new out?
No, that excludes renewals. Those are just initial reinstatements, those types of applications.
That's new.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we said now it's under the new system, it might get down to about 18 business days.
Correct. Yeah.
And then the coming soon is quicker than that. So what's
my goal is to be processing under 15 business days, like across the board, every single application under 15 business days.
And this may not be in your category, but something I'd like to know is if at 126 days, how many employees will this reduce employees that it took to do 126 months versus?
No, we're not going to, I have no plans to reduce headcount. This is processing is not that it was the new efficient way is now that we're able to process it quicker with the same team that I have. And we do actually, I didn't note in here, but do have relying on some temporary employees as well currently, about 18 temporary employees to help us get us to where we're at right now. So still not everyone's a full-time employee of the Secretary of State. We have to rely on temporary employment to get the headcount or get the application times down where they are.
Mr. Chairman, after we get to, thank you for that. After we get to, Mr. Chairman, after we get further into this, I'd like to really see if we were able to reduce how many part-time employees and this has been 6 months for a license has been, and I understand the problem, but it's been the biggest phone call message I've had over the last 6 days.
Absolutely. I think all of us up here can attest to that. And, we were getting more phone calls than any other issue on this licensing issue. And that is some good news. And honestly, recently I told Floor Leader Gamble that I've not experienced as many calls. So that seems to be having an effect. So we appreciate that. All right. We got Representative Reeves.
Thank you, Chairman. Questions for the director.
Okay.
One question is constituent services. Who are good points of contact for any follow-up when we do hear from constituents?
So probably our Chief of Staff Liz Hussman and Matt Tizer.
Okay.
Yeah, those are two people that I think you guys maybe go to today and then they forward it on to us and we get the job and get responses back to you guys.
Okay. And what did you bring with you today on the cart?
Okay, so this is the pile of all the regulations and rules that we currently have programmed into our system today, into the new system, which is
Can everybody see that?
about 2.5
It's like-
feet tall.
Yeah,
So,
somewhere between knee and waist high.
Yeah.
Budget.
Yeah. We worked on professional licensing reform last year. Their agencies as well as regulatory reform. And they have a case that they've saved about $1 billion of the state budget and have cut their regulatory burden by about 25%, which from that stack you brought today, that's a significant amount. People would know it and appreciate it. So just wanted to pass on, that Virginia model. They've done some good things in recent years, and I want to, get that reviewed here in Georgia. So appreciate y'all looking at that.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Floor Gamble.
Well, thank you, Chairman Todd. Appreciate your presentation, and I'm interested in the AI review capability. I think that's great, and the tracking that would be available in this new system. I do want to mention one thing, and I know, Liz, I briefly mentioned it to you. I have recently had 2 constituents that have been the victims of fraud for their corporate renewal, and I know you didn't come today to talk about the corporate renewal registration part of what you guys do, but I do think that we need to be looking at a way to password protect or 2-factor authenticate the corporate renewal process so that just anyone can get your control number or look up your corporate entity and change the information that is connected to it. So I just wanted to mention that and see, is there any effort to do that, or are we considering that as something that might happen in the future?
I'd have to connect with I'm not over the corporations team. We have another divisional director over the corporations team, so I can definitely take that feedback back.
Okay.
And make sure she's aware of that.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other further questions? Okay, I've got one. The call center, that was a source of frustration with folks. What are the average wait times at this point?
Right now, we did get hit. We did take calls for corporations, elections, and then obviously the goals and our nursing are 4 different queues. So corporations and elections, we clear those queues all day. So it's probably within hours that you're getting a call back. Goals, we did get an influx of nursing calls when we went live with the renewals because we added 119,000 nurses up for renewal, which about 1% of those calls is 1,000. So it definitely influxed our thing, and we're at just about 2 days right now calling people back, unfortunately. But we're working hard to kind of work that down. But again, can't staff for the peaks for a call center. So we're definitely again working hard with the team that we have.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Well, anything else?
That was it.
Okay. Well, thank you for your presentation, and we appreciate you being here this
All right.
morning.
Thank you so much. Go on.
All right. Next on the agenda is the Department of Labor. Commissioner Holmes is going to talk about her new strategic plan. Welcome. And congratulations on your appointment. I know you've been there a few months now, but congratulations again.
Well, We really appreciate the opportunity to be with you today to speak about our new strategic plan. So certainly an honor to be with you, and I just thank you so much for that invitation. I know all of you work every single day, whether we're in session or not, as we can see today, to make Georgia the top state for business and talent. And we're really proud to be part of Team Georgia and sharing that same goal of creating opportunities, supporting our businesses, and helping our Georgians find good mortgage-paying jobs. Before I move on, I do want to introduce members of my team. As you know, it's so important to have good people that are supporting the work, in many cases leading components of the work. And so I'm very fortunate to have a fantastic team. So Jansen Head, my chief of staff, Corey Pitts, who heads up our labor statistics division, Jeff Babcock from our legal shop, Denise Beckwith, who is our director of unemployment insurance, Kate Furman, our CFO, and Wallace Thornton, who heads up all of our career centers, the 34 career centers across the state, and Morgan Howard, my executive assistant. So just a phenomenal team that support me, but most importantly, they support Georgians every single day. But I want to talk to you about our new strategic plan, and it is the future of GDOL, a bold transformation. And we rolled this out to the public just recently and also sent you an email highlighting key components. As legislators working, representing the people that we both serve, we want to make sure that you're fully up to date on the important work happening at labor. And so today we'll talk through what that means for the agency and for the Georgians that we serve in your district. So Georgia has long been the top state for talent. We're recognized for connecting talent with opportunity and for driving economic growth. But now we're making sure that the Georgia Department of Labor is streamlined, modernized, and efficient at responding to the needs of our workforce and our job creators. When you speak to industries, whether it's expansions, new industries, considering Georgia, the number one criteria is labor. And so it's foundational, obviously, for our citizens to have mortgage-paying jobs, but for the continued economic growth of our state. And so when Governor Kemp appointed me labor commissioner earlier this year, I didn't begin with speeches, although I've done a lot of speeches in the time since, but I started behind the wheel and just driving across our state to manufacturing floors, to our career centers, to farms, to our small businesses, and to boardrooms, listening directly to the people who power Georgia's economy. And those conversations inspired every initiative in our new strategic plan, from how we deliver unemployment benefits to how we connect talent and employers. And so every day across our 34 career centers, on our phone lines, and in communities across the state, Georgians walk through our doors. They're carrying hope, worries, and questions about their future. And every single day, we meet them with solutions, with encouragement, and with a path forward. And that's why the Georgia Department of Labor is evolving into an organization that is future-focused, forward-thinking, and resilient, ensuring that we just adapt to change, but that we lead the change. And it's a new era, not just for labor, but it's a new era for leadership. So when we look at this is a high level picture of our strategic plan. What I want you to see is that we've not just laid out the path to transformation, we've also laid out how we're going to achieve it. And so we have accountability measures throughout our strategic plan, KPI management, process automation and workflow optimization, data visualization, all leading for smart decision-making, performance management, along with regular one-on-one reviews and technology modernization. Every Georgian deserves timely answers, clear guidance, and a path forward. And our new strategic plan has a customer-centric transformation pillar that focuses on that clear communication with plain language resources for all Georgians, seamless service for streamlined operations to remove barriers and burdensome regulations, rapid access, so our department is enhancing digital access, improving our call center responsiveness, and cultivating a more agile, service-oriented agency. And these changes they reflect our deeper commitment to transparency, to accountability, and to human-centered service, so that every Georgian can access the support they need with dignity and with speed. So when Georgians reach out for help, they deserve answers, and they deserve them fast. As we're building the state's talent pipeline, we're also building our own within the Georgia Department of Labor by investing in our people, our greatest asset, to cultivate that high-performing, future-ready team. Our leadership growth includes programs for our emerging and established leaders. We're setting a culture of excellence through transparency, accountability, and responsiveness at every level. And that includes the regular one-on-ones that I mentioned between our leadership and our staff and team impact. We want to make sure that our staff is equipped to deliver the elevated public service every day that we're expecting and that Georgians deserve. As we modernize the department, we're creating a department that is faster, smarter, and more resilient and built for the future. And our unifying strategy is what we're working on. So unifying the strategy, technology, and the operations to drive that seamless efficiency. We have undertaken the largest unemployment insurance system modernization in Georgia's history with an upgrade that is a cloud-based system that is coming fall 2026. This new platform, it's secure, it's cloud-based, and it's designed to improve the user experience, to reduce fraud, and to accelerate our claims processing. That modernization then responds to our long-standing challenges that include call center delays and technical bottlenecks that impact workers and employers alike. I'm certain that you have calls that you've received, and we respond to those quickly. But our goal is for us to not just respond quickly; it's for you to have less calls from your constituents when it comes to challenges. And we also are streamlining our operations. We're upgrading our infrastructure, unifying our systems, and we're cutting red tape. Partnerships matter. And when the Georgia Department of Labor partners, Georgia wins. So we're expanding our job matching services through workforce support and employer engagement, which is central to our mission. We're expanding job matching infrastructure to better connect Georgians with meaningful employment and help businesses access the skilled talent that they need to grow. We have collaborative networks, an effort that is complemented by new partnerships with Georgia employers, with workforce boards, community leaders, and educational institutions, all advancing a stronger, more responsive talent pipeline that is shaped by labor's transformation. And as we talk about talent pipelines, we're a key partner with the Technical College System of Georgia and WorkSource Georgia, the University System of Georgia, and other state workforce partners to build hiring pipelines that match real business needs at the regional and state level with a high demand career pathways and lists. So what you've seen today, again, this is very high level. If you looked at the weeds of it, I won't get into the weeds with you, but again, there is accountability measures and metrics throughout our strategic plan. But what you've seen today, that's us moving from necessary, which is where we're starting. The Georgia Department of Labor has critical work to do. We're starting with the necessary. The strategic plan moves us to the possible. And with this team, not just the ones that are here, but the 850 across the state, with our plan and with a commitment to each other, with your support and your partnership, the impossible is next. So this is really our moment. This is our mission. And together we're going to raise the bar for what's possible in Georgia and show the nation what's possible when a team works with purpose, with heart, and a shared commitment to remarkability. And I'm proud of our agency. We're building a department that leads with clarity, with precision, and earns the public's trust every single day. And every policy that we make, every system that we upgrade, every process we streamline, and we're streamlining a lot of processes, it's all in service of the people of Georgia, because government should meet that urgency with integrity and with resilience. And happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Hey, any questions for the committee? Okay. All right. Chairman Reed.
Commissioner Rivera Holmes, thanks so much for spending time out in Gwinnett County. It's been good to see you out there several times since you became commissioner, and really appreciate all the work you're putting in this department. You mentioned workforce. I think workforce and literacy are two big things in Georgia, and they're tied together.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you highlighting that big need and what you're doing about it. One thing I got to pass on to you in Gwinnett, and I'll be following up with you, is House Bill 82. It's got a revised draft even since the one online, where we got input from people. It's a Georgia guest worker program where it says Georgia first, look for jobs in Georgia if you're an employer. If you can't find people to take those jobs, look around America, do a diligent work. And if you can't find employees in Georgia, you can't find them in America, and you really believe you need temporary guest workers, trying to create a place in state government where the state would advocate for our businesses with the federal immigration authorities in a transparent and accountable way that would also remind them, we're making sure that you've checked with our folks here in Georgia and America. But if you can't, then try to create some advocacy to get people to have their workforce needs met in a legal and temporary way. So I appreciate you being willing to take a look at that and look forward to following up with you on it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, any further questions? Well, thank you, Commissioner, for being with us this morning, and I appreciate you, the job you're doing. And do you, as far as Georgia is known as the #1 state to do business, and I think a strong labor department is key to that. And I appreciate your efforts and your new plan.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda is Gerald Pilgrim. Gerald's going to talk about, he's with the Georgia Building Authority and going to talk about our new legislative office building today.
Oh, wrong one. Thank you, members. Thank y'all for having me. So very excited. I know y'all are getting a little sentimental. This is about, you got less than 4 more months that you'll be in committee rooms like this. So we're gonna, as you see pictures and as we show there will not be any carpet on the walls. So, I mean, I don't know if it's maybe some of the nostalgia in there, but we will let y'all have some of these panels as we go to do things on there. But again, my name is Gerald Pilgrim with the Georgia Building Authority, here today with Marty Smith, the State Property Officer. So Marty is over just the Financing and Investment Commission, construction side, State Properties Commission, and the Building Authority. And then I serve as his Chief of Staff. And then primarily, we're here today for GBA with the new Legislative Office building and with GISFIC, because GISFIC has been charged with the construction of all the state projects around the state. So we have right about $6 billion worth of projects under contract right now. So kind of excited where we're going. But let's talk about the Legislative Office building and this is kind of what it will look like. So we have, you can kind of see, I think I've got this little pointer too, but you've got the building that's going to be a 9-story building. Originally, it was approved as 8 floors, but the last year during the budget in the last minute, we got additional $15 million to go up an additional floor for 9 floors. That gives a little bit of things where we were a little tight in some areas, had some expansion areas, able to give everybody everything they need. So this will serve the legislature in the state of Georgia basically for the next 50 years. So we have got everything planned for that. You'll also see with the connection that we have, may have seen a few stories about the bridge that was in there, the city of Atlanta. We went back and forth. We actually had a lot of support from the city of Atlanta about having the bridge in there. There were 2 council members. Y'all understand the legislative process a lot more than I do. But with the going there, they had 2 council members on a committee of 5 that asked to table it. They were able to table it. But 3 days later, the council as a whole brought it back up and approved, giving us the air rights. We've connected it. It's going to be a over 20-foot wide bridge that'll connect the 2 buildings. It'll make everything connected on the 3rd floor, which will be in what will become the library, being restored back to the old library. So we're very proud of that bridge. We think it will make the building feel larger, the Capitol feel larger, with the committee rooms being mostly going to be in the Legislative Office building. We'll have a good connection and flow back and forth. There's a parking deck that was part of the approval also that is behind the Legislative Office building, kind of behind the Ag building that you can't really see there, but I think will be very good. This is kind of how the bridge will look like the Capitol, the stone on the Capitol. We've kind of taken the arches that are on the windows in the Capitol and carried it over. Then what you'll see also is above at the Legislative Office building, the flat area, that is going to be a patio area. So we'll be able, the members will have exclusive access to that. Then they'll be able to open for receptions, and it's a very large area that overlooks that. And so I think will be one of the more popular areas in the Capitol. This is the look from the patio area, how it will look in the. So interior wise, as you come into the Capitol off of MLK,
All the public will come in this way. There'll be security that'll come in there. We're going to have the security stations kind of like at Mercedes-Benz. So there won't be hopefully the bottlenecks will improve on that. We've improved some of that by giving, staff and legislators, not legislators, but lobbyists also will be able to be credentialed to go through staff areas. But we think this will help the public areas that will go in from there. This is kind of typical floor. This is the reception area that will be on all the floors from 4 through 9. So when the public gets off the elevators, they'll have a reception area that'll be here. They'll have an area that have drinks. They'll be able to sit there while they're waiting to have meetings with the members, and all with a gorgeous view of the Capitol. This is the appropriations room. It's a joint appropriations. You can see we've kind of taken the carpet that the House has red carpet, so the committee rooms that are in the House will be with red. The Senate has blue carpet, so there will be blue carpets that were there. So when you walk in a committee room, you'll know which committee room you're in, and then you'll see this one is red and blue. So we kind of have this. This will fit just over 90 members. It's if there is a joint session for appropriation sessions where they're having the hearings, that they'll have laptops in front of them. They'll be able to have screens. Then there's also an area, you can't really see it in the pictures. We'll show y'all when we go maybe on a tour, is public areas, and also for members that aren't on the committee that can be seated there. So very large committee, very nice. Again, you can see that we did get rid of we have a lot of wood in there, but we also traded the marble for the carpet, so on the walls. This is kind of a unique room. This is a joint committee room that can seat every member of the House and every member of the Senate in one meeting. So if there was a special kind of a briefing or something along that lines, really probably wouldn't be appropriate for because there's not a lot of extra seating outside of that for state of the state or something like that. But we could have a meeting there, but it would be a committee room that will sit over 250 members or people in that room. This is there are 2 large committee rooms. This is actually the Senate one. So just imagine this carpet in red. That will be the House version that y'all have. This is a large committee room, sit about 150 people. So this is very nice. It has a little side access for the members to come in. There's actually, make it a lot easier. There's a press area to keep them a little bit separated so they can come and go a little bit more freely, and the public then has, unobstructed views. This is a small committee room. So just kind of where we have some of the smaller rooms that are around there. So they're going to fit about 75 people. So we have quite a few of those in the building, and all of them with technology. And then this is the building of where we were last year when y'all came in for session, and kind of where we are now. Kind of give you a little bit on the facts. We have $324 million appropriated for this project, which is going to be the parking deck and the bridge. That's also the furniture, the technology that will be in there and everything. So we're doing very well on that. Budget's holding very strong. We've been able to work through that pretty good. And we will open November 1st next year, 2026. So the 2027 legislative session everything will be in the buildings. We'll have a wave to cross there. So then, we're a lot to do between now and then, but is progressing well. Kind of give you a little bit about the Capitol also. We've just finished up phase 2 of the Capitol renovations. So we were appropriated $83 million for that. So we just finished the House and Senate chambers. Next year, we start on what is the appropriations room, which will become House Rules next year. So we'll start renovations on that in April. And then we start the demolition in the library, which is the north end of the building. The 3rd and 4th floors get returned back to the original library. So that all work starts then. That project will take about 2 years to finish the library. We were going to demo the library. We're going to build like a walkway through there with big, large glass panels that when the loud work will happen next summer. After that, it's going to be the restoration, putting in plaster. So we're going to have the artisans in there that are actually doing the restoration. throughout the year. They're going to do it during session. The public members will be able to look through the glass windows and watch all the work going on. So we're real proud to be able to show the investment of what we're doing. And then we have another project of about $49 million for the ag building that we're redoing that. So all told, we've got about $560 million worth of work on Capitol Hill, and everything. Marty and I both are knocking on wood, knocking on anything we can find. But so far, the funds have been very well, been going through there. Numbers are holding tight, and we just appreciate the opportunity to do this. So the questions that y'all have, I'm glad to answer any that we can.
Okay, we've got a couple of questions. I think Chairman Tarvin was the first to ring.
That's Ken.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Thank you, Gerald. Appreciate the update, and we're all excited about it. It's been a long time coming, a long time overdue, and much needed. So the library space, will that just be used for what's I guess the intended function for the new library, or the restoration of the old library in the Capitol?
The biggest thing is the goal is of how crowded the floors are during session is that we're going to try to move everything as further back. This gives another area besides the hallways for people to gather. We feel like it'd be a good place for meetings, because there'll be two kind of balcony areas that, one for House, one for Senate, that y'all can meet constituents up in there. We will have some books in there, so it'll be kind of just a sitting space, meeting space. Then we can have receptions in there. I think it's one of those things, if there's state events, we think that it would be very nice, like when delegations come in from, economic development, those type things for there. So really one of the things is to bring it back to the original grandeur of what the House and Senate chamber are, what the appropriations, what was the old Supreme Court building room was that we're going to be doing. So to bring it back and to have it restored, and then just to give a little bit more, the space was just, cannibalizing these old buildings like they did. They did the best they could. They didn't have any space, so they built these multiple level of floors, but they're just not safe. We were going to have to do wiring. We had to do a lot of stuff to it. And so with the new legislative building, we don't need the office space as much now. So we felt like it was better to have for the library to be restored back to the original look.
Will the CLOB become additional state office space for other agencies, or?
Yes, sir. I think last year when we were appropriated the funds, I guess it's 2024 amended budget, when it was really there was an option to do the CLOB. We couldn't start that until 2028, probably 2027, 2028. So I think it was kind of everyone's decision. The governor's thought too was that's kind of a future issue that we can't really do anything with. No reason to appropriate the funds now. We don't have a plan for what agencies would come back in this space. So maybe the next administration help work with us to come up with what's the priority with the legislature of what agencies would y'all like to see back on the Hill. There's a lot of opportunities. You have DOT, you have labor that is here that has a building that maybe they want to have some offices here that currently doesn't have it. You have technical college. So there's a lot of opportunities, revenue, that have large spaces that are out that could be brought in, that really more for efficiency. I mean, because as much as it costs to renovate buildings, but having the efficiency of having them located is great. Marty and I have seen this, that we had 3 agencies that were on Capitol Hill that were in 3 different buildings. We've consolidated them to one space, and we've been able to improve efficiencies. And we think the same happens when happens with the state government.
Okay, Representative Reeves.
And, somebody who spent committee on the part of the Capitol that I think was designed for horses, this is definitely an upgrade. So can't wait to see those committee meetings and see the red carpet and the blue carpet and all that across the street. So hats off to you on great leadership. I know the Speaker's office has been working on it, and by extension, Terry England. Terry England's been engaged on this. Tell us kind of stuff he's fingerprints that he has put on this.
I think it's one of the first times I ever heard about the potential of this project was Terry England. So Terry has been, I think, pushing for having a legislative office building on Capitol Hill. I know since 2019, when I came with the state, He was working with, at that time, the OPB director with Kelly Farr. And that's kind of where the impetus of where everything happened was having funds where when we sold 2 Peachtree, we used some funds to look at consolidating. Then we were granted some funds from the legislature to look at a master plan for this. And that was before Terry, one of the things that he was pushing was he was going out and then has been very involved in, as you're going to see with some of the marble and some of those things where you're going to start seeing his fingerprints on a lot of stuff. So with the red carpet, I think would be one of the things that he's going to be very involved with. And, also always asking about the budget. So, with the old appropriations chairman, so he has to make sure the budget's all in line, but we have done well with all those things. So it's been a pleasure to work with him and working with this. It's actually one of those things where you're having to work with House and Senate and the leaderships from both. And it's one of those areas where you do see, you hear all the stuff about there, but we've seen everybody working together for a common goal of what's best. Again, the biggest issue is to improve access for the public. And that's one of those things that I think we have done with this project. And I think we're going to see that. And I think it's something y'all can be proud of. And the constituents, when they come in, are going to be proud that it's going to be easier to move around. It's going to be more intuitive. It's hard to go back and forth between here and the Capitol and understand the process, and they lose it. And so when you walk into one building, you're basically in the other. So they won't have to go through multiple screening processes. So just those things that I think that, Terry and, the rest have all agreed to, and very proud to work with them.
Okay. Any other questions from the committee? Well, I just want to thank you for being here today, and it's great to hear that we're on budget, and boy, they really are making great progress. It really amazes me that the job that's being done and the work that's been done thus far. So
we have a
you.
very tight time schedule. So we
Absolutely.
got these little things that happen every January that we got to make sure we hit those targets.
I got a chance to peek into the House chambers, and it looks great. It really does.
Very, very proud of the way those have turned out. And hopefully the biggest thing that you don't see, and I think we've talked about this before, was that most of the budget in that area went to improving the HVA systems in there. So we replaced HVA systems in both House and Senate that hadn't been replaced since the late 50s. So new, so you're going to have clean air in there. And so we're very proud of that.
The ladies will be happy because it was a little warmer, maybe.
So it's a little warmer, but it's a lot cleaner. I promise you that one. So we're very proud y'all passed tort reform because it's the way those conditions look. So
Well, appreciate you being here today, and thank you very much. Anyway, okay, we got one more question.
I meant the clean air is very important.
sure.
If you never sat in there when the air conditioner kicked on, there'd be pieces of lint and whatever it's called.
Yes, let's go with lint. I like
Now,
that one.
So refurbishing of the microphones and new cables and new buttons, and it's tremendous. It's amazing to go into some of the outer offices and just see what a little tender loving care and sanding and staining and paint has done. And it goes right back to the same theme, and it's a great job. I remember when they did it before, and this is a tremendous job.
There's just for cabling in the house, just to kind of give you that, and we'll have you some fact sheets for later on when the back in there. There's 135,000 feet of cabling just in the House chambers alone. So hopefully everything, and right now, no major hitches on it. So we're very proud of that, and that'll be something. So hopefully this is going to take it the next 50 years in there also.
And you mentioned safety, and that's a big part of this is safety and access for the public. And touch on what changes with that as far as access and that.
So having a little more control. So the members will have the parking. Members and staff will have a parking deck will be connected to the building. So we have that. That's an area for there. But that also opens up that we're going to free up parking closer to the Capitol Hill for the public to park, which is improvement in there. Yeah. We are limited. Building a parking deck is, I know the leader could tell you that's an expensive proposition, and we don't have a great spot. But being able to do that, that's going to make the 90 Central parking deck being a prime parking deck for people to come and use. So that's going to have that. We're going to have free space up in the south deck. So making it easier, having more cameras. We're able to do a lot more cameras on Capitol Hill, which makes the public safety's job a lot easier. The screening processes are going to be more centralized, and we're using the latest technology for the screening processes with public safety. We've hired some security experts that are coming in and helping us with those things, with improvements of some things like with shatter and ballistic glasses and those type stuff that are going to make the public safer, in addition to the members safer, but the public safer when they come up on Capitol Hill. So, because we know we are a target. I mean, we lived through 2020 and the civil unrest and those type things. And we're very proud that even with the civil unrest and even with COVID, we never shut down the Capitol. So, but now we're going to make sure everybody can completely stay safe. And we've learned lessons from that. So,
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your presentation. We appreciate that. And if there's nothing else, we will adjourn this meeting. Thank y'all for being here.